Hey everyone, my name is Michelle. I go by the name of M1924 Crafts here on YouTube and also on Instagram. So for today's tutorial, we will be doing the outer shell of this 1990s Motorola inspired cell phone. This thing is so stinking cute. I'm obsessed. And the best part about it is that there is a top closure that you are more than welcome to fill it with any goodies that you'll like, and you can ship her off to friends and family, or gift it away, or I don't know, it's your craft, you do you. So the one I have here obviously isn't fully embellished, but if you are wanting to know or curious to see what a fully embellished one looks like, I do have a picture posted on my Instagram. I do have a picture posted on my Instagram page. So link is in the description box if you are curious on the measurements for this. Let me go over those. So she sits at 6 3/4 tall by 2.5 inches wide by 3 inches at the widest on the sides, and then down here in the middle she is 2 inches wide. So I was also inspired by Brittany, who goes, I was inspired by Brittany, who goes by the name of Bbz Kraftz here on YouTube and also on Instagram. The other day or last week, she did a tutorial on a 3D arcade vending machine, and I watched it and I was blown away by how simple and easy her steps were to follow. So it actually gave me inspiration to create this little guy, and a couple of the techniques that she used in her video will be applied in today's video. So I just want to say thank you, and I will definitely have her link in my description box as well. Second thing that I want to say is that this is my first tutorial ever. I am so nervous. I'm sweating, but please bear with me. We will just jump right into it. Okay, so then we need our template piece, and on the 3-inch side we are going to score at 1 inch, and then we are going to rotate her over, and this is where we will be making some dots. So at 1/2 inch we will be doing a dot there. At 1.5 on the crease we will be making a dot, and then at 4.5 on the crease another dot, and then at 5 1/4 on the edge of the paper another dot. So I will show you exactly what I mean. So here at the 1/2 inch we have a dot, at 1.5, at 4.5, and at 5 1/4. So we can put that off to the side, and then on our piece that measures 3.5 by 4.5, go ahead and score on the 1/2 inch on each opposite end there. So 1/2 inch, and then on the 4.5 side you need to score at 1/2 inch again and at 3.5. And then on our piece of paper that measures 3.5 by 10 1/4, you also need to score on the 1/2 inch on each end, on the opposite end. So then on the 10 1/4 side you will go ahead and score at 6 3/4 and at 9 3/4. And this is our back panel. And then our middle piece, you will once again score at 1/2 inch on the 3.5-inch side, and then on the opposite end at 1/2 inch. And then you will be scoring at 1.5, at 2 3/4, at 5 5/8, and at 7 1/8. And then we're done with all the scoring that we need. So now you have your 2 side panels. I am going to put those off to the side, and I'm going to grab my template here really quick, and you will need to connect the dots. So the dot that you made at 1.5 will connect to the 1/2 inch dot. So go ahead and just do a diagonal line, and then once again at 4.5 to that 5 1/4, another diagonal line. So now we will go ahead and cut those lines out, and the middle score line that we did at 1 inch, we will cut that out. Okay, so now I am going to trace So this is definitely a optional step. I am going to take my We Are Memories Keepers crocodile corner chomper, and I'm going to be using the 1/4 inch corner chomper, and I'm going to notch the corners on my side panels, and that's totally optional. You don't have to do this step. But I just like the look of it when they're rounded. Okay, so now we're going to begin cutting our flaps. You are going to take your 3.5 by 4.5 piece of paper, and you will just be cutting at every crease up to that 1/2 inch mark. So go ahead and cut there. Okay, so remove the rectangles and the squares. You do not need those pieces, so go ahead and just remove the rectangle there, but keep the flap. And then the squares at that 1/2 inch mark, go ahead and remove those. Now this is optional. But I know it helps. Go ahead and come in at a slight angle at every flap, and this is going to help with laying your flaps down. So, okay, so now you're going to take your 3.5 by 7 5/8 piece, and you're going to do the same thing. You are going to cut up. You're going to cut at every score mark up to that 1/2 inch score line on every side. So you'll be making a couple of flaps. Okay, and then rotate and do the same thing on the opposite end. Okay. So now on the very bottom here, I believe it's 1/2 inch. Go ahead and remove that square. You do not need it, so just the square. And then the flap nearest to that 1/2 inch mark, you are actually going to come in at a deep angle. This is going to help with the folding and laying down your paper. So just come in at a super deep angle at each opposite end. So it should look something like that. Okay, so now you are going to grab your piece of paper that measures 3.5 by 4.5, and you are going to connect that 1/2 inch to the main body on the 3.5 by 7 5/8 piece of paper, and you're connecting it to the piece that measures 1.5. Make sure that your score lines are not touching, just up as close as you can, and just make sure everything is nice and even, because you will be folding this piece. So just like that. And like I said before, come in at every flap at an angle, and this is going to definitely help with laying down your pieces. It's going to help manipulate the paper. So go ahead and just come in at the slight angles on every flap. Okay, so now we will be working on our piece of paper that measures 3.5 by 10 1/4. Go ahead and just cut up to that 1/2 inch score mark on each opposite end. Whoops, dropped my paper. Okay, so now you have that. So what you are going to do now is remove a partial chunk there on the back, and then you will remove the side pieces here. You will remove the tape on your flaps. Okay, so this bottom piece that measures 3.5, you are gonna lay that down on the bottom, and you are going to bring your 1/2 inch flaps inside. Make sure everything is even and connect. So you're kind of building a box. Just make sure everything's even and no paper is sticking out. And then bring in those 1/2 inch flaps and connect it. Again, make sure your paper is not sticking out. Okay, so it looks something like this. Now you can go ahead and remove the tape on each flap. Grab one of your side pieces. The 1/2 inch is your bottom, and that 1.5 is your top. So what you're going to do is you're going to line the bottom edge to the bottom of your back piece of your cell phone, and then the spine with the spine. So you just make sure you have everything nice and even. I don't think I laid it down straight. There we go. Okay, there we go. That looks a lot better. So just make sure. So let me adhere it really quick. Press it down. So now it looks something like this. So you will be grabbing your middle piece here and just remove all the tape from it. Okay, so your 1.5-inch piece is going to connect to the 1.5-inch side piece on your phone. This bottom 1/2-inch piece, make sure it is sticking out because you want it sticking out like this when you start laying everything down. And just remember to fold and manipulate the paper as you go. So I am going to try to line that up as best as I can, and then I will press firmly, and then I will be coming in at an angle and connecting my side piece there, and then my side piece there. Okay, perfect. So now I am going to bring in my top flap because I noticed that it does help some if you bring that in. And my second side piece, I'm going to make sure that it is pointing the opposite end and my 1/2-inch is facing out. So I'm gonna do the same thing as I did on the other side and line everything up. Everything looks good. So now my paper should naturally want to fold. So I'm just gonna adhere that 1/2-inch to 1/2-inch, and then my side panel. Okay. So now this bottom piece, you can go ahead and remove the tape. And just make sure everything is nice and even before you press down. And if you have any paper sticking out, just go back in with your pair of scissors. So what I like to do is I like to notch this back piece on my paper because I feel like it helps a lot with grabbing. So I am going to take my 1-inch circle punch and I'm going to come in slightly and just notch there, and it's going to help me with the flap. But anyways, that is your phone. That is how you create it. Like I stated before, do not throw away your template because you do need it to cut out your decorative paper. And once you cut out your decorative paper, make sure you measure it. If it fits a little larger than your side panel, just go in with some scissors and just snip until it fits perfectly. But anyways, that's my tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful information and you guys learned something from it. Thanks for being so patient. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.